Oh, Rispeeda, my silly little Bottleman custom that I've had for 2 years now. It's time to give you one last incarnation. Maybe? Maybe, yes. Bottleman G has now wrapped up. So on this episode of Hyperforce, a rambly series where I talk about design, writing, oddities, reviews, basically anything related to my passion and or profession, I'm gonna be designing Rispeeda's Godcap system version, Rispeeda G. Pretty simple premise, I know, but this is the third in a trilogy of videos about my blackcurrant falcon. I made Rispeedas for the prototype and DX systems before, so make sure to check out those videos as well. This is basically a part 3. 4? Those other videos will give you some extra context for this video. But without any further delay, let's make Rispeeda G. So, just like last time, I wanted to create a Bottleman that specialises in shot speed. However, this time around, that's gonna be a bit harder to pull off, since there isn't any horizontal rubber drive strip cord in Bottleman G. You know, the stuff that comes with the Colomarus? We have a vertical drive strip core with Bottle Sphinx G, but I also do want magazine access, which Bottle Sphinx just does not have. I have to make what I'm happy with, since this is my custom. So I decided to just make a fast Bottleman. Not the fastest, but a pretty zoomy Bottleman either way, just like Rispeeda Proto and DX. Throughout 2023, I did publicly go over what parts I'd use for Rispeeda, although this did stop around August. It stopped because I just didn't have anything new to really add. Cola OG, Sprightening G, Cobalt Bottle Fire G, and Welsh Great G didn't really introduce anything I'd want to use for Rispeeda G. Welsh Great G did give us a purple coloured Samet's core, which I would love to use for this custom, but the hold parts would have to be changed for a power type set of hold parts. Maybe Kuros or Cobalt Bottle Fire Gs because they're light blue, like Ribena Light. Yeah, you get it. My point is, I want to show off these beta designs that I had for Rispeeda G through the medium of a montage. Enjoy this short little montage. That was short, huh? The most notable parts are Samet's trigger and two-way magazine. They are a constant in these design concepts. I seriously do love the two-way magazine plus Samet's trigger combo. It allows for much easier reloading, leading to a more consistent flow of shots. One hand is on the Bottleman, while the other is reloading into the magazine that has a wider loading bay than the usual magazine, which is pretty tight all things considered. The one-hand grip on this trigger is much more intuitive than anything on Doc PP on DX. I love the magazine and trigger a lot, so they are 100% going to be a part of Rispeeda G's design, given the speed both pieces provide. But what about the front end of the core? The cores in Bottleman G split in two if you did not know, meaning that Samet's trigger is only one half of the core. I think it's pretty obvious what the front half is going to be. I'm going to be using a power core front. Rispeeda G won't be able to use barrels, but he will have power hold parts. And I'm gonna be real, I don't really want Rispeeda using barrels, that's not really his thing. Rispeeda has always used power type hold parts to boost its shot speed, since stronger shots travel faster. So, Rispeeda G's core is power front and Samet's G's back. This is the core. But what about the rest of the figure? Most previous versions used Bottle Wyvern G's head and Dragger's feet. Well, yeah. I think these fit well with Rispeeda. There isn't really that many viable bird heads for me to use in G. I feel that Bottle Wyvern G's head gives me the most flexibility for the design of the Bottleman. The top crest can have the blackcurrant falcon decoed upon it, while the visor can have the iconic Rispeeda eyes. And well, the dragon feet do have claws. Falcons have claws. Yeah. Plus, I really do like the shin guards that these have. Again, most of Rispeeda's parts are picked out of personal preference along with speed optimization. So it's just what I like the best. And what I think will work the best for my custom. I pick what I like, that's what I'm saying. And since this is the God Cap system, I need to consider what Rispeeda G's God Cap will be. So what will I use? Well, the other two Rispeedas use Speed Caps, which is now retroactively a God Cap. So why break tradition? Maybe a Speed Cap plus Weight Booster combo to give it more impact? Adding in the Weight Booster does give options, so I will allow it. So, to recap Rispeeda G's build, it's a Power Core front, the Samet G trigger back, Dragger or Cobalt's feet, Kuroryuo G's arms, Bottle Wyvern G's head, the two-way magazine, and a speed cap with optional weight booster as his God Cap. Yeah, I'm gonna admit, Rispeeda G's design wasn't the hardest one to come up with. God Cap doesn't really have that many new Bottlemen to work with. Less options mean less ideas, believe it or not. But I can pretty happily say that this is Rispeeda G. Look at how striking this bird is! This reinvented Rispeeda focuses on outspeeding other power types. It is the fastest out of its fellow power-type brethren, thanks to its one-hand trigger and two-way magazine. Oh yeah, you heard me right. Rispeeda is a power-type this time around, his main gimmick being a one-handed power-type. He mixes the impact of power and the flow of speed to create this cybernetically enhanced Rispeeda. Wait, cybernetically enhanced? Oh yeah, I didn't say reinvented Rispeeda for nothing. This version of Rispeeda is a biomechanical jet plus Falcon hybrid, fueled by Ribena. Fueled by Ribena. This is the Black Current Jet Falcon, Rispeeda G. Given the design of the sleeker head and the sleek arm wings looking like jet wings, it gave me the idea to make Rispeeda G more robotic. It's the same bird, but upgraded with jet-like powers. Plus, since this is a one-handed Bottleman, you can fly it around like a jet! Which I think is silly but cute. It's just something you can do, isn't it? With Rispeeda G being one-handed, you can perform a lightning dive bomb with just one thrust of your arm. But it can be pretty unstable. Strong, fast, but unstable. Two-handed would be more stable since you have more overall grip and control over the Bottleman. One-handed though, not so much. Especially since your hand sits so far back on the Bottleman, the center of force is, well, off-center. It can be done, but it's more unstable. That's the point of this paragraph. Just for shits and giggles, here's Rispeeda G with Bottle Sphinx G's core, giving Rispeeda his iconic drive strip back. You can handle this guy one-handed, so reloading him would be smoother than Deca V Tiger or Sphinx normally. But I don't know, this guy just looks a bit weird, doesn't he? Despite me loving vertical shooters, I have always been focused on the standard horizontal cores when designing stuff like Rispeeda, and the perfect builds from some of my other videos, which you should check out by the way after this one. I mean, Powered Soda G is nothing but vertical cores, but he's the exception rather than the norm. Vertical cores before were very heavily limited in Bottleman since they didn't really get along with the usual building system, outside of the headpieces. However, Deca V Tiger gets along with the building system perfectly. I now have access to a system-friendly vertical core, one that even has a drive strip in it, and, well, I just don't feel like using it. I just thought I'd talk about the vertical cores that we can now use in G, and why I'm not using it. Since Bottleman G gives their figures stats, I might as well give Rispeeda G some stats too, right? So for those who didn't watch the Rispeeda update video from last year, Rispeeda GX's stats are 5 power, 6 speed, 2 control, 2 stability, and 1 capacity. Or 3 given he has 2 extra caps in his wings, but the core only holds 1 cap. It depends on how you want to count it. Rispeeda G isn't as wild as Rispeeda GX, therefore the stats are going to reflect this. Those stats are 3 power, 5 speed, 3 control, 2 stability, and 3 capacity. Yeah, like I said, not as wild as Rispeeda GX. But I like to think that this guy is more of an all-rounder Rispeeda compared to the more drastic Rispeeda Proto and DX models. Ironically enough, this power-typed Rispeeda leans more towards his swiftness rather than his raw power. He is the one-handed power type after all. He's not meant to be the strongest. Rispeeda's always been about his speed anyways. Yeah, I know the power type Rispeeda is actually kinda weak compared to other Rispeedas, but typings and stats in Bottleman are super bullshit anyways, let's be real. On a different topic, here is Rispeeda G's artwork render. This showcases the proper colours and deco this Bottleman would have. As I've said before, he's now much more cybernetic and biomechanical. He's a Jet Falcon hybrid. This build of Rispeeda does look more robotic compared to the other two, so again, I leaned into it. I like to imagine that if Rispeeda is like an actual animal that could manifest itself, like the bee animals from CROSSFIRE B-Daman, he would be a peregrine falcon wearing jet-like armor. I think that'd be pretty cool. Here is Rispeeda G's mock-up logo. It's a mock-up because I don't really have the skills to replicate the Ribena logo as well as I would want. So this is a proof of concept design, essentially. It's based on this Ribena logo, replacing the juice blob thing with Rispeeda himself. Very similar to the DX logo, but the G is in place of the DX letters. It works, so why change it, right? Here are the Rispeeda Lite versions of the logos as well. Since we have 2 Rispeeda versions, yeah, you get it. And with all that said, this is Rispeeda G. A bit of a different take on Rispeeda, but one that I think fits in pretty well despite being, well, different. Still a very speedy boy at the end of the day, hence the name, Rispeeda. But, what do you think of Rispeeda G? Do you think he looks cool? Is he a good combo? Is this Jet Falcon concept epic as fuck? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, okay, so I've covered Rispeeda G. That should be it, right? What do you mean the video isn't over yet? Yeah, you probably saw how long this video is. This ain't over yet. Not only did Rispeeda get upgraded, but Bena, his user, did too. I have been wanting to remake Bena for a while now, but I didn't really have any sort of clue what I wanted to do with her. Until it hit me one day, like most of my ideas, they just spanked me in the face out of nowhere. What if instead of trying to create her as a Bottleman OC, that would fit in with Bottleman's human designs? What if I just do this more simply? What if I just straight up make a Ribena Kajinka, if I'm pronouncing that right? What's a Kajinka, you ask? Do you remember the meme Earth-chan and turning everything into girls afterwards? Yeah, it's that. Kajinkas is just turning things into humans. Mostly girls, but boy Kajinkas exist as well, so what if we do that with the entirety of the Ribena brand? It all started when I wanted to redo Ribena's hair. Rina! It all started when I wanted to redo Rina's hair. Instead of making her have a bird-like haircut, what if I gave her a blackcurrant berry-like haircut? Bowl-ass haircut! This all eventually led to this Bena design. She is a farm girl who grows her own blackcurrant berries. Just like how Ribena adverts say they're grown in farms or something like that.
They'll do anything to get inside. British blackcurrants.
They're pretty farm themed, so Rina is now farm. She's a tanned girl with many freckles across her face. Since she works out in the sun all day, growing and picking berries, the sun will have gotten to her skin quite frequently. The freckles is just a cute farm girl detail, I thought that would fit her. Her hair is one giant blackcurrant bowl cut with many more blackcurrants flowing down as 2 braids. Very farm girl-esque haircuts. The bobbles she uses in her braids have fake leaf accessories on them, to be like the leaves that blackcurrant berries have sometimes. And representing the leaves are on the Ribena packaging, but yeah. For her clothes, she wears overalls and gloves. They are, of course, needed for this farm girl and her work. Her overalls come with unzippable trouser legs, so Rina can have shorts or trousers for whenever she needs one or the other. She has a few extra details too. She wears a British flag and cat pins, since Ribena is a British drink, and is always stated to be one.
British blackcurrants.
Quite patriotic of it, I guess. Why not give Rina a British pin? But what about the cats then? The cat is in reference to the Chin Up adverts that features, well, cats.
Mate.
The same advert that Rina's catchphrase of "Chin up, my friend" comes from.
Chin up, my friend. Chin up.
Mate.
My voice acting is perfection, I know. The band-aid on her chin is also in reference to this phrase. There's even little arrows on it because chin up. It's a visual pun. So, Bena is now Ribena the woman. What a fucking sentence. She is more of a Ribena waifu than ever before. She is a berry-growing farm woman who loves Bottleman, or a Matalam given which universe this is, and decides to create her own Bottleman, inspired by some of her favourites like Kolomaru, Tansatan, Samet G, and Kuro Ryuo. She meets up with the other characters from the Bottleman DX anime, and the G one-shot manga, and plays Bottleman with them. She stands out compared to everyone else because she lives outside of the grand metropolis the Bottleman DX anime takes place in. She is a farmer living on farmland after all. Of course she's gonna be quite different. While everyone is very stylish and cool and very, well, city folk, I guess you could say, Rina is just very, well, herself. You have all these city dwellers and then a random farm girl who came in with her own custom. Look, if the clearly custom build of Sprightening G and Welsh Great G can be counted as official Bottlemen, who says that Rispeeda can't also just be the same sort of thing? And as a quick reminder, Rina owns the Rispeeda standard versions that are based on the standard Ribena drink. I, however, me, J5 the Hyperforce, the one that flies super high with style and panache, some days, owns the Rispeeda light versions of the Bottleman, which are based on the Ribena light drinks. They are the ones I prefer after all. If you want to know why there are 2 Rispeeda decos, check out the DX video, that gives the context. That explains why there's 2 of them. And that is the new Bena, the owner of Rispeeda Standard Edition. What do you think of her? Do you prefer the older design? Do you prefer the newer one? Let me know in the comments below. To give you some insight, I feel like all 3 versions of Rispeeda coexist. It's not like the prototype version evolves into the DX version, who then evolves into the G version. Nah. Rina has 3 different Rispeedas in her possession, meaning she can dual-wield Rispeedas. I kinda see this like in Bakugan's first season, where Maruchio, I don't know if I'm saying that name right, where Maruchio had access to both Prius and his evolution son? Prius 2.
So that's what it was. I thought it was a bit strange that I wasn't feeling well, but now it all makes sense. It's no wonder I was craving sour foods like that.
If I'm pronouncing these names wrong, I'm sorry. Since DX and G share the same building system, you can mix and match DX and G parts. I like to call combos like this GX figures. Perfect examples of GX figures have already been done by Takara, Sprightening G and Welsh Grey G. They are G Bottlemen that primarily use DX body parts. There's also this little custom of Kolamaru Energy DX using the G Mega Cannon Wing arms as his own arm parts. Again, showcasing that DX and G can mix both one way and the other way. I say all this because what if I create a Rispeeda GX? A Rispeeda that combines both aspects of Rispeeda DX and Rispeeda G together. So guess what? I did it! This is Rispeeda GX! Those certainly are a combination of letters in the English alphabet, yes! Both main gimmicks of Rispeeda DX and Rispeeda G are combined together in this hybrid. Tan-Satan DX/Vol has DX's roller arms, Samet G's one-hand trigger and two-way magazine, DX's head, and G's feet. Which feet doesn't really matter though. Sadly though, I couldn't carry over the drive strip from the DX build into the GX build. But since G's hold parts are basically the same as DX's hold parts, you could easily build a drive core for G, then use it for Rispeeda G and GX. But as you can probably tell from my perfect builds videos, I don't really like mixing cores because they're very hard to take apart, so I'm just gonna have to put up with what I have. The main goal for Rispeeda GX was to combine the DX booster shot arms and the G one-hand trigger. Since the G one-hand trigger is stuck on the G core system, I had to sacrifice the drive strip, since that is tied to the DX core system. While all of the body parts are cross-compatible, the cores are very themselves, so you can see why I had to make compromises here. But how does this build perform? Rispeeda GX's stats will end up being a hybrid of the DX and G stats, just like the figure himself. I've decided on 5 power, 5 speed, 3 control, 2 stability and 3 capacity, or 5 depending on if you count the 2 caps in the wings. The drive strip being gone does slow down this Bottleman, but it's still pretty swift given its one-hand trigger and two-way magazine. His booster shots are now also smoother thanks to the Tan-Satan roller wings, so I reckon the power stat can be buffed via the booster shots. Plus, since the roller wing arm parts interact with the power hold part spikes, unlike the Kuro jet wing arms, it adds more power to shots. This guy is a better Rispeeda G, basically. Like I've mentioned earlier, booster shots performed with one arm is harder to do right. But thanks to the rollers, you at least thrust forward smoother. The cap holding wings can also hold the weight boosted speed caps, ready to be used whenever you want to use them. God cap storage, pretty nifty huh? Rispeeda GX is a more fun combo idea between the DX and G systems more than anything else. It's more so of a, what if I combine these two together and this is the result? It's a silly thing. A what if, you could say. If Rispeeda was featured in the anime or something, combining these two Rispeedas would obviously be the strongest version of Rispeeda. Rina goes from dual wielding to combining both Rispeeda's strengths together. In real life, however, it may not be as grand as once expected. That drive strip really does help. But hey, it's cool at least, maybe. But what do you think of Rispeeda GX? Is this a funny little combo build, or should these two just never fuse ever again? Let me know in the comments below.
Stupid bitch.
Have a nice fall, you stupid bitch.
So, to recap, Rispeeda G is a more biomechanical version of Rispeeda, fusing the Peregrine Falcon with a jet. Bena is now a farm girl with a love for Bottleman, or a Matolum, and we now have 4 Rispeedas: Proto, DX, G, and GX. What do you think of Rispeeda G and the new Bena? Which one of the Rispeeda builds is your favourite? Once again, because I keep asking this, let me know your thoughts about this video and the things featured within it down in the comments below. Even though the Bottleman Godcap system was pretty limited with its small roster of unique figures, it was like 5, it had 7 unique character Bottlemen, but Sprightening and Wellscrape were, well, GX combos. I still feel like I was able to build a G Bottleman that stood out amongst the cast. At least Rispeeda G wasn't the 4th Mega Cannon Wing user, right? Okay, so maybe it's the 4th one-hand trigger user, but it's the only one that's a power type, technically. That must mean something, right? Samet, Wyvern, and Wellscrape are all speed types with speed type rollers. Rispeeda has a power type front, so it stands out a little bit more amongst the Sametses, amongst the speed types. Yeah. I feel pretty confident in saying that Rispeeda G is a pretty cool G custom build. All of the Rispeedas may be slightly inconsistent with their thematics and gimmicks, but hey, at the end of the day, these are my custom Bottleman builds, and should be made for what I want. Besides, it's not like Bottlemen jumping from one series to another can't drastically change, CC Leon. I like power and speed types. Each Rispeeda is a speed power type at the end of the day. Sure, they take different methods in accomplishing that goal, but they accomplish it nevertheless in a way that I am satisfied with. And, well, I just like them all. So Rispeeda fulfills its purpose: to be a Bottleman of my own creation. A Bottleman combo that I, well, would use. Besides, I think I'm the only one in the Bottleman fandom who actually has a Ribena custom Bottleman build, and given the fact that Ribena is somewhat owned by Suntory, a Japanese company that collabs with Bottleman quite a lot with like CC Leon and Decavi Tiger, I think Rispeeda works really, really well. So you know, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell because my Bottleman is pretty close to being an actual realised Bottleman if Bottleman ever went international. I ramble sometimes, don't I, audience? Speaking of like, comment, and subscribe, guess what part of the video this is? Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. It's important feedback for my content and helps me out in YouTube's algorithm and it helps me out in YouTube's algorithm and all that shit. I've been doing this for, what, 2 years and I still can't speak properly. Yes, I'm keeping that in. Follow me on Twitter or Blue Sky at J5TheHyperforce to keep up to date with whatever projects I'm working on at the time, or teasing upcoming content, or shitposting, or doing whatever else I do. I don't know what I do at this rate, I just vibe. If you know what I do, let me know in the comments below. I'm slowly losing my mind. Right at the end of the video, if you have any fanarts to send me, like maybe of Bena, any of my Rispeedas, my mascot Sakura Yui, or anything else relating to me, send them to me on my Twitter at J5TheHyperforce, and I will feature them within the next video I am editing at the time. Don't forget to check out my video game, our Matolum Showdown, the visual novel with a battle system. If you like Bottleman, you will love our Matolum. It's kinda the same thing. And to be honest, I think our Matolum is better than Bottleman. So, challenge me on my beliefs and go play the game to prove me right or wrong. If you like my custom Bottleman builds, the armate gears in our Matolum are sure to impress. Because I'm not limited by what I'm able to buy. I can just create it out of code. I can do whatever I want. There's also Project Dream Shot to try out. A different style of shoot 'em up. It's more adventurous. Kinda like a top-down 2D Zelda game. It's an experimental prototype, as you can probably see by the footage. So feedback would be pretty great on the project. Both of these games are fun and cool, so you should like play them and stuff. Our Matalim comes with a free demo, so if you don't want to buy the full version, the full early access version, whatever wording I need to use here, there is a free version you can try, and then there's no harms done. All that you did was download something. Oh. And with all that said and done, this has been J5 the Hyperforce, finishing off what I think will be a trilogy of Rispeedas. If Bottleman ends up returning in the next few years with a System 4, then I guess I will make a fourth Rispeeda. Fifth? Depends on how you want to count GX, but yes, I will make a Rispeeda for that system as well. But that's if Bottleman comes back. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? And with all that said and done, this has been J5 the Hyperforce. I will see you whenever next. Till then, what a journey this has been, Bottleman. What a journey it has been. I hope to see you again sometime soon, old partner. Let's hope to see you again. Or B-Daman!